Alright, this video is going to be the only video that you need to learn the most important Linux commands that you're going to use in a daily basis in cybersecurity. When I first started my degree in cybersecurity, I always wished that someone had made a video explaining all of the basic Linux commands and how they work. But I was really overwhelmed with the amount of video that just knowledge dumping on you and expect you to know all of this basic knowledge without actually building them. So get your virtual machine ready, open your terminal, and let's do this. The first thing that we're going to do, obviously, we're going to open the terminal. All right, first command that I want to teach you is going to be whoami. Whoami basically shows you the username that you currently log into this machine with. The next one going to be the host name, that's going to be give you the same thing. You can also use uname-a to get more detail about the operating system and the kernel version of this machine. As you can see over here, we get Linux candy and that. These commands usually used when we gain access to a target machine and we want to find out more about that machine that we just compromised, and we're just going to figure out what type of operating system kernel they're using. After that, what I want to show you is that how we can list items and see what is actually inside of our directory. The command for that is going to be ls. And as you can see, it's going to list me all of the directories inside of the location that I'm currently at. We have desktop, documents, downloads. If I want to see the permission and see more detail about these directories, I can write ls-l. That would give me more detail, like the user and group they belong to, also the permissions these files have. I'm going to go over these permissions in a bit as well to explain what are these means. Also, if you want to list the hidden files, for that we're just going to use ls-al to list the hidden directories and folders inside of that directory as well. As you can see, the ones that have dots behind them are the hidden ones. For cleaning the terminal, we just use clear, and I'm going to clear our terminal. So to actually find out what location that we are located at the moment, in what directory we are actually located, we're going to use pwd, and that's going to show us that we are in home/cali directory. For changing location, we use the command cd, and after that we're just gonna write the directory name or just the path that we want to get directed to. In this case, I'm just gonna list the directories that we have here, and I'm just gonna go to the desktop. So I put cd desktop. As you can see, my location has been changed and I'm in desktop directory at the moment. One important command that you're going to use for going one directory up, we use the command cd again, and we put 2 single dots in front of it. What I actually do is basically is going to just go one directory up. We are now back to Kali directory that we started in. Also, we can just put the full location of the folder or the directory that we want to go to. For example, if I just write cd and I go to the root directory, or from over there I can use home/cali/downloads, and that would take me straight away to downloads. I don't need to go one by one directory by directory to get to downloads. I can just put the whole path and get to the downloads directory as quick as possible. One thing to keep in mind is that it's sensitive to lowercase, uppercase, so I have to make sure that you write it exactly as how it is. So now I'm gonna show you how to create a file. For creating a file, we use the command touch. After that, we just gonna use the name of the file that we want to put it on. I'm just gonna put it as test.txt. Is gonna create me a txt file, as you can see over here. For making the directory, we use the command mkdir, which stands for make directory, and then we can name it whatever that we want. I'm just gonna name it example, and if I ls, we can see the directory has been created. Another method to create a file is using echo plus the text that you want to add to that text file or folder. You basically use echo, you put your text in double quotes, and you're going to use this, and then you have to name your text file as well. Just gonna name it example2.txt, and if I ls now, as we can see here, we got example2 cst. But how are we actually gonna view the content of that file? For that, we're gonna use the command called cat. We're gonna put the file name after that as well. I'm just gonna put example. If I use tab, it's gonna give me option, and it's gonna autocomplete for me. When I use that, as you can see, it's gonna show me the content of that file as well. But if I do the same thing to the test.txt that we just made, nothing going to show up because there's no content in it. So how we can actually put content into these files, there's two tools that we can use. One is a bit hard and the other one is a bit easier one. The first one called vim or vi. You can use vi, and then I'm just gonna the names up there as well. You use vi and the name of the file. In this case was test.txt, and as you can see, it's gonna open that file for me, and I can now write stuff in it. It can be a Python code, it can be just a text file, and it can be anything. It acts like a text file, isn't it? For entering data, you have to press I. After that, you'll be able to write whatever you want. For exiting from the file, all you're gonna do is just you're gonna press escape, and you're gonna use :wq. You can use it with q as well, but q just quit it. It's not gonna save it. When you use wq, it's gonna write and quit. The other tool that we're gonna use is nano. Nano is basically a bit easier. It's easier to scroll. You can scroll down and up, and you got a list of shortcuts down here to write and change whatever inside of that is. So as you can see, you don't need to press keybind, and you can just start writing straight away. For coming out of this little icon that you see is basically means control. For exiting, as we can see, is control X. If we hold control and press X, it's gonna ask us, do you want to save the modify buffer? And we're just gonna press Y to yes. We're just gonna press enter, and it comes out. And if we use cat again to see test.txt, you can see that the changes that we made is already saved. So nano is basically a bit easier, but it might not be installed on your machine. I'm gonna show you how to install these packages, that if any of them are not installed on your machine. Another command that is used so often is going to be the copy command. For copy command, we're just going to use the command cp, and we're going to put the folder that we want to copy. Then we have to put the location that we want this to get copied to. In this case, I'm just gonna send it to the desktop. As you can see, we made this test.txt in downloads, and when I use cp text.txt and I put the desktop location here and press enter, that's gonna send a copy of that text file to the desktop. As we can see, it just created here as well. The other command is gonna be move command. It's gonna be the same format as copy. You're just gonna use the command mv, the file name, and then it's gonna be again the location of the file. mv also used for changing a file name as well. I'm gonna show you how. I'm just change my location to the desktop. We can see that the file name is text. If we use mv and we put the original name first and we use a space, we can now put the new name in the second. Press enter and ls that. We can see that the name has been changed as well. Quick recap: you just use mv, you use the old name and space and the new name that you want to name it. If we want to remove a file, we're just going to use the command rm, which stands for remove, and then we're going to add the name of the file that we want to delete, which in our case is update text.txt. And if I press that and minimize that, as you can see, it got deleted from my desktop as well. For deleting a directory, use rmdir. I just created a directory here. Use rmdir and then the name of the directory. There we go. It was just a typo. If you forget how a command works and also want to find out more about that command and what other things it can do, a command that you can use is going to be a manual command, which is man, and then you can add the command that you want to know more about after that. In this case, I just want to know more about the cat command. And as you can see, it's going to show you all of the capabilities that this command has, and you can use them. You can read them. You got a plain English. You're going to explain it in plain English, and you can just read it and use it. So now let's talk about downloading a file or a software from the internet. For downloading anything, there's a good habit that you learn as well, is that always trying to update your software before downloading anything, because most of the time the file not going to get downloaded because your software is not downloaded. For updating your software, we're just going to use sudo apt update. Sudo, whenever you use sudo, is going to ask for your machine's password as well. Sudo basically runs your command as a root user. We mostly use sudo wget, it can be the link of the website, for example, example.com or slash test file.exe or elf. Can be something like that. I don't have a file at the moment, but most of the time that you want to download anything, you use sudo wget and the link of that file as well. Another useful command, it's sudo curl. Sudo curl is basically a command that allows you to transfer data from or to a server, and you also use to download files from internet as well. You basically can use curl to just navigate through website, but inside of your terminal. It can get you a web page and show it in the terminal as well. I'm just gonna sudo Google, and as you can see, it's gonna show me the Google's page inside of my terminal, but it's going to be in HTML. Another useful command is ps, which shows you the processes that are going on your computer. A more detailed version is ps aux, and that's going to show all of the processes on this computer. All of these processes have a process ID, and if you want to end a process, there's something that you don't know and looks suspicious, or something maybe crashed and it doesn't stop. If you want to stop it and kill it, we're going to use the kill command plus process ID. It's going to be something like kill1, and I'm not going to do it because I don't know why you're going to stop. Or it's just going to be the kill command plus the process ID. For adding a user to your machine, we use useradd, and then we're just gonna name them as well. So as you can see, it's gonna tell me permission denied because I'm not a root. For being a root, as you remember, we use sudo. Use sudo useradd, then I'm gonna name myself. So I just made my user Tyson, and I have to change his password as well. So I'm just gonna use sudo passwd, and I'm gonna put my user, and that's gonna allow me to change my password, basically set my password, because I just created this user. Is not gonna have any password, is it? So I'm just gonna give it a password. My password has updated successfully, and now if I want to change to that user, I'm going to use the command switch user Tyson. I'm going to put my password. There we go. As we can see, the symbol has been changed. And if I use the command that we learned earlier, whoami, then tell me Tyson. And to come out from this and go back to the mkli user, I'm just going to use exit, and I'm back here again. So one thing that I mentioned in the beginning of the video was permissions that I'll show you for each directory and folders. Let's just make a text file really quick. If I use ls-l, as you can see here, the text file have some random alphabet next to it, which are not really random. When we look at this R stands for read, this W stands for write. This one that is empty, this can be an X, which stands for executable. We always ignore this first one, and they are a group of 3. So we go 3, 3, 3. These first 3 are the permissions for the owner of this file. These second 3 are the permissions for the group that this file is belong to. So every user that are inside of that group can do this stuff with this text file. And these are the permissions for any other people outside of that group, or if they are not the owner. So let's explain it clearly now. The owner of the text file can read, write, and cannot execute this file. So they can change it and they can view the text file. Everyone inside of that group can do the same. They can view this text file and they can change it. But any other people, they only can read this text file and they cannot change it. But the good thing about Kali is, or the Linux in general, we can change these permissions and we can make this an executable file. So how are we going to do this? So for changing the permission, we use the command chmod, and for changing the permission of user, we're going to use u, and for adding a permission, we use plus, and the permission that we want to add is going to be execute. So we're going to use x. We can do the same thing. As you can see, it's going to show me the option as well for group and others as well. This minus is basically taking the permission away. So this is gonna take the permission away, the reading permission away from the other users. And the equal version gonna change this bit exactly as what you wrote after the equal sign. For this, I'm just gonna change the user permission. And if I press enter, and if I do ls-l, we can see that the color of the text file has changed. And as we can see here, this file is now can be executable, which it couldn't do that before we changed the permissions. So the owner of this file can execute this text file from now on. We can also change the ownership of this file as well, and that's going to be change own, and we're gonna add the owner first, and then we're gonna put the file name after. So that basically gonna make the owner of this file Tyson. Great. Cannot even spell my name right. So for this command, it seems like I need a sudo command. I need to be root. So I'm just gonna add a sudo at the beginning, and there we have it. For finding an item, we use the command find. The formula for that is gonna be find command, the location that you wanna the find command look for. So in this case, I'm just gonna put the location for home, mkli, desktop, and then we have to add the name of the file that we're looking for. For that, we're going to use dash name, and in double quote we're going to put the name as well, and we press enter. If I want to make this a bit tough one, I'm just gonna add that, and I'm gonna make the directory that is gonna look for a bit broader. So I'm just gonna put it as look into the root directory, and I'm also gonna change this to a star. That means it's gonna look for anything that has test at its beginning. And if I press enter, you can see it's gonna find all of the files that have test in them. So as you can see, it's gonna like do loads of noisy stuff. It's gonna add so many stuff that is not going to be useful for me. One thing that can be used is going to be this little command at the end of our find request, and what that does is basically it gets rid of all of the noisy stuff, and you're just going to find out clean path for that folder that we're looking for. To be honest, I really don't know how does it work. I just memorize this, and I know that I have to use this at the end of all of my find requests. But any of you guys know it, please drop it down in the comments. That will be very great. So now let's do a little bit of networking. The first thing is going to be how to find out your IP address. The easiest way is just you're gonna write down IP space A, and that is gonna give you your IP address. That is very useful when you are creating projects inside of your home lab. Definitely need to find out your IP. Another important thing is finding out your DNS. For finding out DNS, we're gonna use cat resolv.conf. When we do that, we're gonna get our DNS as well. Also, there's another way to get your DNS. It's gonna be mkli dev show pipe rep DNS. That also gonna show me my DNS as well. It's a bit tough one, but this works on the newer machines if that one doesn't respond. Another useful command mostly used to see if you're connected to internet, also if you are able to talk to your different machine, is going to be ping. Ping is basically used to see if there's any packet can go from your machine to that website or to that IP address, and packets come back to your machine as well. And if we do that and we see that packets are going and we get times over here, that means that our machine is alive and it's sending message. That also can be done with IP address as well. If you have an IP address and if you have a machine that we want to see they can communicate, then we can just put their IP address here and we can ping them. In this case, because this IP doesn't exist on my network, as you can see, it's not gonna send any packets back and forward. So that means there's no connection between these two machines. To quit that, you just use Control-C, and that's gonna bring you out of that. To view your open port is gonna basically be ss.tulpn. That shows what ports are open on your machine. Currently, I can see that I've got this port open on my machine. If I want to open a port, I'm just going to easily use sudo ufw allow 80. So this machine doesn't have the ufw, which is my firewall. So I just have to install it now. So I'm gonna use sudo. So as you can see, I use sudo apt install and ufw, which is my firewall. If I use host status, I need to be the root. So I'm just going to use sudo. As you can see, it's inactive. So we just need to activate this. I'm just going to clear this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use sudo enable. So if I use this again, you can see it's active now. Now I can use UFW to open ports and close ports. If I want to use it, I'm just going to call it UFW allow 80. So I forgot again, I need to be sudo. There we go. If I use sudo UFW status, as you can see, the port 80 is allowed on my machine. And if I want to close that port again, I'm just going to call the UFW. I'm going to put deny 80, which I wasn't sudo again. I keep forgetting that. And if you look at the rules again, you can see that it's denied now. The port is closed. There's another way to open and close ports. Is going to be Systemctl start SSH. SSH is basically a secure shell that allows you to others use this port to connect to your machine and use your machine. Gonna ask for my password. Now that is open. Just gonna see if it's gonna show me on this. There we go. Port 22 is open. That's for SSH. So if someone have my IP address and my password, my username, they can easily connect to my machine and they can gain access to everything on my machine. I'm just gonna close this really quick because it's a bit dangerous. It's gonna be the same format. You're just gonna use stop. That should stop it for me. There we go. It's not going to be here anymore. So that's a good way to make sure that your ports are secure and they are not open for no reason, because that's the first entry point of a hacker, and that's how your machine get compromised. So it's a good habit to have, to check your ports and make sure that the unnecessary ports are not open. That's a good practice to keep a robust security. And the final command that I want to teach is going to be history, which gonna show all of the commands that we use in this video. And there you have it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that gonna help you a lot in starting your journey inside of the field. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and you like the video. And also, if you got any question for me, drop it in the comment sections. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video.